this drywall gearbox here has 4 gears, and it's not a synchro case, so you gotta roll to shift, and then it's out and in a different position. Once you have a 4-speed gearbox like the drywall, you don't necessarily have to do so much changing in, although you could still have the changing capabilities of these 4 gears plus those gears, and then your back gear up on the head of the drill press itself. But most of the time I found, and I leave it pretty much into this position here. Now let's talk a little bit about flat belts. This is a lace. That's a lace in that one there. This belt I made, this one here, came with a machine. I did have to take a 1/2 inch out of each side and redo these laces. And I do have this lace material and a lacer, and I'll give you a quick show of that. Well, here's an old-time lacer, and I'm not gonna get right into it. I just wanted to dig it out and show you if I have any comments or things like that. I will have to be taking a 1/2 inch or so out of that belt here shortly, and I will probably go ahead and put together a video at that time. If you're interested in such a video, please let me know in the comments there. Alright, the pin goes in basically here to hold your lacing in. You have these prongs here where your belt is slipped in, held snug. Then you pull down, it ratchets and locks, and then you pull down like that and it finishes crimping off the lace itself. And then you gotta lift your foot, and then you go back for open. Then you pull your pin out and your belt is ready to come out. Here's a little slideshow on putting together the lower shaft unit here, and of course the bearings were messed with already. Somebody had their pecker tracks all over that. They machined out the shoulders that give you the cavities to pour the babbitt and stuff. So with not having much of a choice, I set it up and I line board machined the 2 shell sections of that, and then created the proper bronze bearing to support that position there. And then I added the other pillow block bearing on the other side to hold the load, because all the belts were pulling in the upward position, and I added that in there just for security. So here's a glimpse at those photos. Now here's a chain coming down here, and this is a counterweight, and the counterweight picks right here on this crossbar, and it was adjustable for different poundage and tensions depending on your setup of drilling and raising and lowering this head. And some of the things you had out here were operating on the spindle were heavier, and so, or lighter, and then you needed to change out the weight pick on it. On the other side here is a lock screw that goes in, was so that you could lock the counterweight and then adjust that linkage for your tension. Alright, the counterweight chain goes around this pulley right here. You can see the remnants right there where the pin, cross pin goes through. When you got all the paint off of here, clean and everything else, you can see how they swedged it on over. And right here is the second pulley. So that chain comes almost straight through that tube, comes around, and then goes straight down. Alright, this box right here is the bevel gear that changes the direction of the main spindle in the horizontal position to a vertical position, and then travels this lead screw down. And this is driven with a extended key through the bore so it can freely slide up and down. When I got down here, I didn't have any backlash in this gear, which all gear should have a little bit of backlash. And what I found was that the vertical shaft shoulder against this was worn out so much. Machined a thickness washer there, and then I just tacked it with silicone bronze right there, and now I have the proper backlash. Alright, on the auto feed, we got the worm gear, and it's lubricated by the oil bath. And we have a rod that runs straight through here, and in this little gearbox here is 4 different gears, and it's ball detented out. Here's the little spring plunger in here that goes down through, has a little ball in there, and it hits these little dots that are all pre-drilled into the shaft. And the shaft stays in line with the handle and everything because it's keyed. Alright, and we're in gear. It's engaged in one of those gears, and it's locked solid with the rod up there, so we don't have the freedom now. In neutral's all the way in. Alright, first gear out. Now to engage this, it was nothing more than pulling the handle over. Alright, here's how the auto feed works. We'll put it in gear. Now we got the feed rolling, and it's not engaged until you cock this handle, which comes up and locks with this handle. Now this handle was missing, but I had this handle here, and the back gear handle and this one right here, I added on this handle shape to accent what I know the original designers and machinists, you know, kind of portrayed the style, the character of the machine. So I tried to hold that, and I kind of ad-libbed this part of it here. Because I hadn't seen any pictures or anything else, just the same as the shrouds up there. Alright, now let me show you what happens when. Alright, we're real close to the end. Instead of moving the sleeve down, I'm just going to show you at the end of the travel here. So you're engaged, and it's feeding. As this comes down, it comes against this part of the lever here, it starts raising this. And then your stop is gauged by that kick out point. Alright, it's pretty simple. More mechanical than anything else. that's all I have today on the Sibley 24-inch drill press that I've restored. Thank you for the request on the video, and good luck with your project. Get her done.